Thank you for listening to the Cat Breeder Sensei Podcast, Episode 4. This is the show that supports the reputable breeding of pedigree cats. I'm your show host, April Catito, and this episode is all about the expenses involved in running a successful cattery. Let's break down the list of items and some of the expenses that you will need to prepare for and budget into your business plan. Let's start with cat food. So the cost to feed your cats is going to vary, certainly depending on a variety of factors. What kind of food do you choose for your cats? How many cats do you have? And if you have litters of kittens on the ground or not. So what to feed your cat and providing a healthy diet is one of those controversial topics in the cat breeder world. Some breeders are totally adamant that feeding a raw diet is the best option, and others will disagree with that. Whatever you choose to feed to your cats is their daily diet. Just remember that cheap is never good, and good is never cheap. Next on the list is cat litter. Again, this is something else that is total personal preference by the breeder. It can range from a few bucks a month all the way up to a few $100s a month, depending on the type of litter that you're using and how many cats that you have. There are so many choices and options of litter on the market today that it's almost like the food. It's just overwhelming to try to choose what litter is going to work the best for me. You'll most likely go through a testing phase of several different types of litter that are on the shelf and in the websites and Amazon and Chewy and things until you find what works the best for your cats and for you. So that's really going to be the indicator of your recurring cost, because it's something that you have to continually buy. It's never going to end. I'd like to mention here that kittens should never use clumping litter. If it's ingested, it will get hard inside their intestines and could cause a blockage. So if you choose clumping litter for your adults, that's perfectly fine, but make sure that you're not using clumping litter for your kittens. Next, we'll talk about vitamins and supplements. So this is also a controversial topic. Some breeders feel like cats don't need any supplementing at any point of their breeding careers, while others will definitely supplement with vitamins and lysine and other things like that. There's extra nutrients for pregnant and lactating cats, and there's just all kinds of products on the market for this. So again, your personal choice. It's always best to do what agrees with your cat the best. So if you get a positive response by using supplements after you've done some very diligent research on the product, then by all means use the supplement. I have a couple that I like to use, and so do some of my breeder friends. But again, if you choose vitamins or supplements for your cats, then that will probably be a recurring cost to you on a monthly basis. All of your cats will need cat trees and scratching post. And two different elements here, but a cat tree is one of the most essential items for your cats. They like to get up high. They like to climb. They like to look down on their environment, just like a natural cat in the wild would climb up into a tree like a jaguar and watch from below. Our cats like to do that as well. So a cat tree is essential, and preferably one tree per cat. They can become quite possessive of their cat tree and have their favorite spots and get offended if one of their roommates happens to be in their perch. So have multiple cat trees in your cattery and for your kittens. Now, cat trees aren't going to be a recurring expense like cat food and cat litter, but your cat trees will get worn out and they'll get torn up, and you'll find yourself having to replace them every so often. Scratching posts are also essential. They use these to scratch their claws and remove the outer layer of their claws. So if you find